Do you think influence and fortune can erase accountability? The answer is a resounding no. The world of Hollywood shines brightly on the surface, yet beneath that glow are cautionary stories of dramatic reversals. Once celebrated as actors, musicians, and reality television icons, they lived amid privilege and applause, surrounded by symbols of success. Today, those images have faded into the muted reality of confinement and consequence. In this video, we explore documented cases of 21 well-known figures whose choices ultimately led them to face the full weight of justice. From massive financial deception to grave violations of personal boundaries and irreversible acts that ended careers forever, these stories reveal how a single misguided choice can unravel an entire legacy. What once looked like unshakable power collapsed with startling speed, leaving only lessons etched in consequence. Their journeys stand as a stark reminder that status offers no exemption from responsibility. In this video, we take a closer look at these cautionary narratives, the hidden forces that led to their decline, and how accountability followed in the end. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, so you won't miss more eye-opening stories from behind the spotlight. Darren Sharper built a notable 14-year career in the NFL, earning recognition as a highly skilled safety with teams such as the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and New Orleans Saints. Over the years, his performance brought him multiple honors, including All-Pro selections and appearances in the Pro Bowl. He also played an important role in the Saints' championship season, contributing to their Super Bowl success. At the height of his career, Sharper was widely regarded as one of the league's standout defensive players, known for his athletic ability, on-field awareness, and impact during crucial moments.
No halo saves you from the light. Fame won't shield, money won't lie.
That narrative changed dramatically in 2014, when Sharper became the subject of deeply serious accusations that quickly drew national attention. Numerous women reported encounters in which they alleged he deliberately impaired their ability to consent, followed by severe violations of personal boundaries, with incidents spanning several states. These claims marked a sharp and irreversible break from the admiration that once surrounded his athletic achievements. In 2016, the legal process reached a decisive point when Sharper entered guilty or no contest pleas related to cases involving 16 women across 4 states, bringing a stunning collapse to a career that had once been celebrated at the highest level. As a consequence, Sharper received an 18-year prison sentence, a decision that underscored the gravity of the offenses and the profound harm inflicted on those affected. The case illustrates how status and success, when paired with distorted judgment, can be dangerously misused. It also reinforces a fundamental principle: recognition and wealth do not grant immunity. In the end, accountability prevails, reminding us that everyone is subject to the same standards of responsibility, regardless of how high they once stood. Shannon Richardson, while never reaching mainstream celebrity status, was briefly recognized for appearances in well-known television series such as The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries. Her public attention, however, did not stem from her work on screen. Instead, it arose from her involvement in deeply alarming actions that unsettled the nation. In 2013, Richardson became the focus of a major federal investigation after sending threatening correspondence involving a highly dangerous substance to several high-profile public figures, including a former U.S. president and the mayor of New York City, an act that abruptly shifted her story from minor visibility to national concern. Richardson's story illustrates how unchecked resentment and deception can spiral into actions with devastating outcomes. Her choices set off a chain reaction that caused widespread fear, deep harm, and lasting consequences for many people beyond herself. By allowing destructive emotions to take control, she closed off any remaining path toward repair or understanding. Ultimately, The case stands as a cautionary lesson about the dangers of letting anger and obsession guide behavior, and about how decisions driven by negativity can produce repercussions far greater than anyone initially imagines. Jonathan Paul Copenhaver, widely known by the name War Machine, was an American mixed martial arts competitor once regarded as a rising presence in the sport. He drew attention for his physical power, speed, and aggressive fighting style, earning opportunities on prominent stages, including appearances connected to the UFC. For a time, his future appeared firmly tied to athletic success and recognition. That trajectory collapsed in 2014, when his personal life intersected with a deeply troubling incident. Following the end of a relationship with his partner, Christy Mack, he unexpectedly arrived at her residence in Las Vegas, setting the stage for events that would permanently redefine his career and public identity. Overcome by intense emotional collapse, War Machine carried out a series of actions that resulted in extreme harm and long-term trauma. The incident drew widespread public attention, and after a large-scale search, he was taken into custody. The legal proceedings that followed were extensive, with prosecutors bringing forward dozens of charges connected to unlawful restraint, serious bodily harm, and grave violations of personal autonomy. In 2017, the court reached its verdict, finding him guilty on the majority of counts. He was ultimately sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole set far in the future, marking a definitive end to a career once built on discipline and physical control, and transforming his story into a stark warning about the devastating consequences of unchecked rage and loss of self-restraint. The sentence underscored the profound harm caused by his choices and the enduring effects left on those who suffered. His collapse reflects not only the end of a once promising athletic path, but also a sobering illustration of how destructive behavior within personal relationships can unravel an entire life. The case helped bring wider attention to the urgent need for awareness, early intervention, and meaningful support for individuals at risk, reinforcing the importance of addressing warning signs before damage becomes irreversible. Chris Wu, born Wu Yi Fan, emerged as a prominent figure in the global entertainment scene, holding Canadian citizenship and first rising to fame through his involvement in the K-pop industry as a member of EXO. After stepping away from the group, he shifted his focus toward acting and rapidly gained recognition on the big screen, appearing in several high-profile productions that expanded his international influence. For a time, his career reflected success, visibility, and cross-cultural appeal. Despite this upward trajectory, his public journey later became overshadowed by serious legal challenges that dramatically altered how his legacy is viewed. In July 2021, Chris Wu became the focus of a highly serious legal case that quickly captured public and media attention on a global scale. The accusations triggered widespread discussion within the entertainment industry and led to an immediate collapse of his carefully built public image. Following an extended period of investigation and judicial review, the case reached a conclusion in November 2022. The ruling brought substantial legal consequences, marking a decisive turning point that reshaped both his professional future and how he is perceived by the public. He ultimately received a combined prison term of 13 years, after which removal from the country may follow. The outcome underscores the necessity for accountability and responsible conduct within the entertainment world, reinforcing a simple truth: public recognition offers no shield from the rule of law. The case stands as a clear reminder that status and success do not erase consequences, and that serious misjudgments carry lasting repercussions regardless of fame. William Hayden, once known as the central figure of the Discovery Channel reality series Sons of Guns, saw his public image unravel after becoming entangled in serious legal troubles. The program, which highlighted the Hayden family's business, focused on custom craftsmanship within the firearms industry, attracted a large audience and strong attention. Despite its popularity, the show's legacy was ultimately eclipsed by criminal proceedings that dramatically altered Hayden's personal path and brought his career in television to an abrupt and lasting halt. In 2014, William Hayden became the subject of grave criminal charges involving the exploitation of two minors, with the alleged incidents separated by many years. The seriousness of the accusations led to his arrest and a closely watched legal process. For many viewers, the revelations were deeply unsettling, standing in stark contrast to the disciplined, authoritative image he had presented on television. The case proceeded to trial, and in 2015, a jury found Hayden guilty, resulting in a life sentence without the possibility of parole, a definitive end to both his public career and personal freedom. The case sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and permanently damaged his public standing. Beyond the courtroom, it intensified conversations about the protection of young people and the responsibilities that come with visibility and influence. It also exposed how personal choices, when left unchecked, can unravel years of public trust in an instant. Ultimately, the situation stands as a sobering reminder that a lack of accountability and self-discipline can result in irreversible consequences, leaving lasting harm for those affected and erasing the career and reputation of the individual responsible.
Power borrowed, not owned. Every seed is finally sown.
Skylar Delian, once known for a brief appearance as an extra on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, experienced a deeply troubled path after stepping away from the entertainment world. A childhood marked by instability and hardship appeared to shape many of the choices that followed. Using the name Skylar Delian, he gained a short moment of recognition through youth-oriented programming, but that visibility faded quickly. As personal pressures mounted and financial strain intensified, his life veered off course, setting him on a path defined not by creativity or growth, but by decisions that would ultimately lead to devastating consequences.
Lights go out.
The situation reached a horrifying turning point in 2004, when Delian and his spouse became involved in an elaborate scheme tied to a high-value transaction. The plan centered on a couple attempting to sell their yacht, but what began as a financial deception spiraled into an irreversible crime. The owners were taken onto the vessel and never returned, their disappearance later raising grave suspicions. Although no physical evidence was recovered at the time, years later the case resurfaced when an accomplice came forward with a detailed confession, prompting authorities to reopen the investigation and uncover the truth behind what had long remained a chilling mystery.
On a silver screen, names and lights living every dream. Champagne nights.
Skylar Delian ultimately received the most severe sentence allowed by law for his role in the robbery and killing, bringing a grim conclusion to a life that had derailed long before the crime itself. The case stunned the wider community, symbolizing how a path shaped by instability, desperation, and unchecked desire can end in irreversible loss. His story stands as a stark illustration of how greed and distorted thinking can push a person beyond moral boundaries. It also serves as a lasting reminder that a single moment of catastrophic misjudgment can shatter not only one future, but also the lives and peace of innocent people caught in its wake. Colin Walker, a rapper and actor in his late 20s, received a sentence of 50 years to life in Los Angeles after being found guilty of multiple serious offenses involving several adult women and minors. The court determined that his actions met the threshold of grave felony conduct, leading to one of the harshest penalties available under the law. Prosecutors emphasized that he would remain under permanent monitoring requirements following the conviction. According to the case findings, Walker was accused of exploiting online platforms to approach young, ambitious individuals, gradually building trust before crossing severe legal and moral boundaries. The case stands as a sobering example of how influence can be dangerously misused, and how the justice system responds when that trust is violated.
Justice waits, it never dies. Every shadow, every scar.
One of the individuals affected later came forward, stressing the value of truthful legal guidance and the courage required to pursue accountability through the justice system. The situation not only caused deep and lasting harm to those involved, but also exposed the risks that can arise when online platforms are exploited for harmful intent. The outcome underscores the serious legal consequences that now define Walker's reality. Once viewed as a figure with rising potential in the entertainment world, his future was ultimately undone by decisions that crossed irreversible legal and moral lines.
Every scar shows us who we really are.
As his visibility grew across music and film, that recognition was misused to construct false connections and misleading narratives, drawing vulnerable individuals into situations of manipulation and harm. What unfolded was not only the collapse of one person's potential, but also a broader warning about how influence, when left unchecked, can be turned into a tool for exploitation. The case underscores the urgent need for awareness, safeguards, and accountability on social platforms, reminding us that protecting those at risk must take priority over admiration for status or success.
No one's above the law tonight. No throne is.
Zach Avery, born Zachary Horwitz, ultimately received a 20-year sentence in federal prison for orchestrating a massive financial deception valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. Authorities determined that he misled investors by falsely presenting opportunities tied to acquiring distribution rights from major entertainment platforms, creating the illusion of a legitimate and highly profitable venture. Beyond incarceration, federal prosecutors also secured an order requiring Horwitz to repay hundreds of millions in restitution, reflecting the scale of loss experienced by those who trusted him. The case stands as a stark illustration of how fabricated credibility and false promises can inflict widespread financial harm and permanently dismantle a carefully constructed public image.
When freedom breaks its final, hidden in the dark, leaves it stained.
Horwitz carefully crafted the image of a well-connected Hollywood insider, repeatedly suggesting that his business maintained privileged relationships with leading streaming services. Over time, however, those who had placed their trust in him uncovered a very different reality, one built on illusion rather than legitimate success. The fraudulent operation had been running for years, supported by detailed reports that listed dozens of film projects allegedly lined up for international release. In truth, these productions never existed, and the promises behind them gradually collapsed, leaving investors to face substantial financial harm and a deep sense of betrayal.
Lies denied, justice waits, it never dies. Every shadow.
Investigators allege that a large portion of the funds was redirected toward personal use, while hundreds of investors were misled over several years through his company, from the mid-2010s until his arrest. Zach Avery's case stands as a cautionary example of how financial deception can hide behind polished appearances and convincing narratives. It reveals how unchecked ambition and ethical failure can dismantle a public image, erase a career, and leave lasting damage on the lives and livelihoods of countless people who place their trust in the wrong hands.
Never dies. Every shadow, every scar shows us who we.
The 19th name on the list is Joe Exotic, born Joseph Allen Maldonado, a former zoo operator whose notoriety eventually eclipsed his public persona. He rose to national attention through his ownership and management of the Wynwood Exotic Animal Park in Oklahoma, a sprawling facility that placed him at the center of intense debate. His practices involving big cats and his visibility within the controversial world of exotic animal entertainment made him a polarizing figure long before legal consequences reshaped how the public would ultimately remember him.
Every scar shows us who we really are.
His personal story drew global attention following the release of the Netflix series Tiger King, which brought his eccentric behavior and mounting legal issues into the spotlight. In 2019, Joe Exotic was found guilty on numerous federal counts connected to mistreatment within his animal operation, along with additional charges tied to a scheme involving serious threats against a prominent animal welfare advocate. The court ultimately handed down a lengthy federal prison sentence of 22 years, marking a dramatic end to a life once driven by spectacle, controversy, and unchecked ambition. Although a federal appeals court later determined that aspects of his original punishment required reconsideration, Joe Exotic remains in custody and continues to face the consequences of his actions. His situation has remained a subject of public interest as ongoing legal developments keep his name in the spotlight. He is currently incarcerated in Texas. Beyond the spectacle, the case stands as a sobering lesson about the harm caused by exploitation and how unresolved personal rivalries, when fueled by obsession and poor judgment, can escalate into severe criminal outcomes.
No one's above the law tonight. No throne escapes the final.
Toby Willis was once widely known as the head of the Willis family, gaining public attention through the TLC reality series, The Willis Family, and the group's musical appearances on America's Got Talent. His recognition stemmed from performances that emphasized harmony, discipline, and close family ties, presenting an image of unity and talent to a broad audience. Over time, however, that carefully shaped public persona shifted dramatically, as serious legal matters surfaced and came to define how his story would ultimately be viewed.
No throne escapes the final fight. Applause fades, excuses fall.
In 2016, his life entered a deeply troubling chapter when authorities launched an investigation into serious allegations involving inappropriate conduct within his own household. The claims shattered the image that had once surrounded his public success and brought his career to an abrupt halt. Following the legal process, Willis entered guilty pleas to multiple felony charges and received a combined sentence of 40 years in prison. His arrest in Greenville, Kentucky, after efforts to avoid apprehension, marked a definitive end to his time in the public eye and transformed his story into a stark lesson about accountability, trust, and the far-reaching consequences of personal actions.
Last applause when freedom breaks its final. Hidden in the dark, leaves its stain.
His conviction represented a profound collapse of the image he once held as the guiding figure of the Willis family. What had been presented as unity, talent, and shared purpose was abruptly replaced by disbelief and disappointment. The fallout extended far beyond the courtroom, leading to the cancellation of the family's television project and leaving fans and the surrounding community grappling with a painful sense of disillusionment. More broadly, the case stands as a somber lesson about the damage caused when authority is misused and trust is broken within the most intimate of spaces, showing how such betrayals can leave lasting emotional and social consequences for everyone involved. Ice Road Truckers personality Timothy Zicker later found himself at the center of a serious legal controversy after being arrested and convicted on charges related to unlawful restraint and coercion. The case drew public attention because it involved a woman known by the alias Snow White and unfolded in a way few expected. According to court records, the situation began after a personal dispute over money following a private transaction. Zicker arranged a meeting under the pretense of resolving the issue, but events quickly spiraled out of control. What followed involved intimidation, confinement, and pressure aimed at forcing a third party to intervene financially, turning a personal disagreement into a criminal matter with severe legal consequences. Thinking quickly under extreme pressure, the woman provided a phone number that ultimately connected the situation to law enforcement. Unaware of this, Zicker made threats while demanding a large sum of money, a move that immediately escalated the matter beyond his control. Authorities swiftly intervened, arranged a controlled meeting, and took him into custody without further harm. After the case moved through the legal system, Zicker admitted guilt to 2 serious felony charges and received a prison sentence ranging from 5 to 15 years. The outcome stands as a stark reminder that when anger overrides judgment, even those who appear powerful or resilient can bring about their own irreversible downfall. that concludes our look into the collapse of 21 once-celebrated figures, a sobering reflection on how status and wealth offer no shield against accountability. Behind the spotlight, each story reveals how unchecked desire, distorted judgment, and misuse of influence can quietly erode even the most powerful lives. These narratives are not about spectacle alone, but about consequences and the invisible line where success gives way to responsibility. Which story left the deepest impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this exploration meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth stories from behind the curtain. Until next time.